Hello guys, and welcome to this video where I'll be showing you how to implement different animations into the AIs, and I'll focus more into creating the advanced boss AI you guys saw in the video. So I'm just gonna drag my character right to the end of this hallway so I can actually see the boss right away without going back and forth every now and then. So I'm just gonna push him all the way to the last room where the boss will be. And push him a little bit back here, and I'm gonna put it here just for now. And we'll work on this guy. He's a class of boss BP, and we're gonna switch everything he's doing from axes to movement, attacks, and everything he's doing to the greatsword boss AI you saw in the video. So without further ado, let's dive into this. First off, we're gonna worry about the weapons. Since he's using axe, we don't want any axe, so we're gonna have to use a greatsword. You go to the viewport and you'll see a left weapon and a right weapon. Now we're gonna get rid of left weapon, but first let's see where is it being used. This will help you do exactly what you need when you wanna change the weapons into something else. So there's like three times it got called. One is weapon physics. That's called when the AI is dead. So we don't have to worry about this one for now. The next one is on attack trace. This is very important. We need to know where this is. And the last one is on getting weapons on an interface function. Now we're gonna change the right weapon into a greatsword. Just go to right weapon and from static mesh call the greatsword. I like this one the most. And we're gonna have to switch the socket name this is attached to. There is one particular bone that greatsword uses. If you go to the mesh and from the mesh you go to the skeleton, the IK hand bone is being used. I typed all this on inside this notepad, so the info you can see here will be helpful to you guys. So IK hand right bone is the socket location for the weapon bone. We're gonna use that one. IK hand bone right. From there I'm gonna make a new socket, and I'm gonna call this GS weapon socket. I'm gonna save this, and we go back here, and I'm gonna go back to the right weapon and call the GS weapon socket, and this will be attached to it. Of course it won't look nice right now because we're using different kinds of animation, which we're gonna have to change right away now, so we can see the changes after we change everything that is related to movement. Now for the left weapon, just leave it blank for now, and we're gonna go to the animation blueprint and start working on the movement. For the movement, if you go to the NMBP and go to anim graph, there's nothing fancy in the anim graph, just a few things that you need to tweak in the Alderon. I'm using a movement state enum, and from there I'm calling three different plane spaces. Now the strafing, the normal, and the movement with the weapon. I'm gonna go to each and every single one of them, and I'm gonna have to duplicate all of them. So I'm gonna call 1, 2, and make another one. Now for the AI walk with the weapon, I'm gonna duplicate this and call it GS walk with the weapon, and duplicate this again and make it without weapon. Now duplicate one more time. I'm gonna call this without weapon, and the strafing will have to be done as well. So duplicate, I'm gonna remove the AI strafing and call it GS strafing. Now to make things easier for me, I'm just gonna add all these to the GS folder right here I just created. You don't have this GS folder by default. I just created that with all the animations that you saw here in the notepad. I retargeted basically everything that was written here, as well as all the movement types from all kinds. So these are the attacks, and the movement folder exactly as it is from Greatsword. I just got it exactly here in the movement folder. Now keep in mind that all the animations are in root motion except for one. Now that single animation is SP attack, which is represented in this one. This attack must be an in place. All the others will be root motion except for movement. Movement can remain as in place. Now for the movement, we're just gonna have to get back to it. Now I created some extras of the camera, and we're gonna have to adjust all these that hasn't been adjusted. So just walk with weapon and without. This was the one I created. These are extras, except for this one. Don't mind these issues, you will never have them. So I'm just gonna delete this. And I think there is one more extra. Not this one for sure. I think, yep, I think it's this one. No. Just waiting for this to disappear, and we can delete this one out here. Now we go back to the animation blueprint, and I'm gonna create another animation blueprint because this one is by default. I don't want the default one, so just duplicate this one and call it GS_AI animation blueprint. And I'm gonna put it also inside the GS folder. Now for the anim graph, we're gonna have to get back here, idle run, and call all these we created here. So I'm just gonna drag them all in and put them all here. Actually, I can only put one at a time. Okay, we can just put it like that. Just with weapon, this is without, and the last one will be the strafing. Now, so we don't get confused, this is the default, which is without any weapon. So we're gonna copy this one twice, connect the speed variable to it, and connect each one of them to the default and idle pose. We can just remove these, we don't need them. Now for the with weapon, this one will go in, another speed variable. And this one is idle run, which is the default one from Epic Games. We can just remove this one and use the without weapon. And the strafing is the strafing one here. So I'm just gonna use this and delete all the extras that I haven't done. Now we're gonna start with without weapon. It has an idle as well as a walk-in. So for the idle, we're gonna use the Greatsword idle. So just type idle right here after you retarget all the animations I talked about. There's the Greatsword idle. Which one we should use? This is the weapon. This is with the weapon. So probably, yeah, we go with the common idle. I'm gonna put it here. This looks good. And for the walk, we're gonna just type walk. Greatsword forward. This is with the weapon. So I'm probably too much. I'm gonna take the common. So this is walking without, and of course we're gonna have to worry about the sockets again. So without us continuing, let me just go here and go to the root, remove all attached sockets, and we're just gonna add the GS socket we created. We're gonna add another preview asset, which is the Greatsword. Now, so we can actually see it live when we create the planet spaces. We're gonna close all the extras that we don't need for now. Static mesh, skeletal mesh, animation blueprint. Let me close these for now. Without weapon. This is how it looks. And it looks exactly how we want it. Now for the with the weapon, this has to be slightly different. Now with weapon, it will have forward, idle, and one more thing. Let's just drag the idle right here. This is what, this is the movement, and the walk, it's gonna be walk forward, This looks how we want it. Perfect. Now the last thing, which is gonna be the strafing. We're gonna use multiples, not just this. So we're gonna start with the walking forward on the middle, backward on the edges, and right will be here, left on the other side, forward right will be here, now backward right will be here, backward left will be here, forward left will be here. Now let's just check, double check everything. It looks like we want it on the right. Now for the left, looks neat, perfect. Now we're just gonna keep the animation like it is right now, but we forgot to assign it to our boss right here. So go to the edit blueprint, go to the mesh and assign the correct NMBP GS_AI. There we go. And this looks good for now. Now we're gonna start with something else. The AI has equipment and unequip. So if you wanna access the equip and unequip, just go to the boss BP, class defaults, and we're gonna have the equip and unequip right here. So to make these two work, get the equip and unequip from the GS folder we created. I think it was in movement. Unarm, this is one. Equip and unarm. We're gonna create anim montage from both of them. Create anim montage. This is gonna be a lengthy video, by the way, so just so we can minimize all the amount of errors you will get that I will not be aware of. So this is equip, unequip is right here. I'm gonna attach the unarm to this one, and the equip will be here. Now the moment he sees us, he should switch all his he should equip the weapon the moment he sees us. So I'm just gonna play pretty quick and let's see what he's gonna do when he sees me. Looks Now we're gonna change all the other animations. So we're gonna start, since we worked on the equip, and unequip will only work if you die, so just gonna ignore it for the time being. And anything else, nothing from here. So we're just gonna close the boss BP, the unarm for now. We're gonna keep that boss BP because we're gonna access all the other stuff right here. Now for the strafing, I want you to be aware of two things. If you remove initialize components here, this boss will never strafe. And you can change the movement speed right here, 300. And we're gonna work on the, since we changed the strafing animations, let's just test it again and see how it works. But there's one more thing we need to change. The movement is very off, so we have to lower his speed. Also the strafing, you just saw him strafing. Now the equip we had, it seemed a bit off because there is blend between the montage and the actual animations. So we go to class defaults, go to equip, and from equip I'm gonna lower all the blend in back to 0. This way when he equips his weapon it won't look as weird. Let's take another look. Looks good. So make sure the equip has a 0 blend in time. Now the movement was too fast, so I'm gonna have to lower the, let's go to the strafing component and lower the value to 250. For you by default it has a 300 value, so just put it to 50 so it looks better while he's strafing, because every animation is different. Some animations will look faster and some animations will look slower. Now for the walking it was a little bit off. Now the reason behind that is because we were using wrong animations. If you go to animations, yes, in the walk with weapon, his movement speed by default is down to 600. If you check on the class defaults, if you check in the behavior tree, it's something you can actually adjust from here. Following movement speed is set to 600. Now for the 600 we have here 600 and it's on this animation. Now it shouldn't, and for this three dots here, I didn't add them on camera, so just forget them. And for this one, strafe walk left has to be run walk left. So we're gonna have to, where is it? We're gonna have to find it. Let me just drag them here and see how it goes. No, not this one for sure. Was it walk? No. It has to be run. Strafe run, there you go. Found it. Yeah, this one. This is the one we want. Now let me test the strafing as well as the movement. Let's see what he's gonna do. Okay, the strafing and movement look fine. So what we're gonna have to worry about now are the attacks and the fact that the weapon goes up and down every time he plays an animation that is not from Greatsword. So to do this, we're gonna have to, let me close the BT, boss BP, we're gonna keep it on. We're gonna start this component by component. And by the way, if you do watch this video, there's no need for you to look at the documentation, because I'll cover all the most important stuff here. Now for the strafing, you know that if you remove this one, you will never strafe. For the turning, there's 4 montages that you need to worry about. Keep these names exactly as they are, do not change anything. We're gonna have to change the turning in place. Now for the turning in place, if you wanna see how it works, if you let the boss attack you, and now he's gonna have to turn exactly like that. Now because the animation look a bit poor, it won't look as nice, so we're gonna have to go to the movement and create montages from the turning. And by the way, all the 4 turns has to be in root motion again. So create anim montages, and for all the 4 of them, make sure you add 2 notifiers. These are very important. In the beginning, we're gonna create let me first remember how is it we add notifies down here. From on the side of notifies, we're gonna click add notify, and it's gonna be turn in place rotate. You're gonna put it on the very beginning, and for the max degrees you can keep it 120, and for the time make it the length of this entire animation. So right now it's about 30 frames, almost 1 second. So I'm just gonna keep it for 1 like this, and at the end I'm gonna have to create another notify, and I'm gonna make this reset turning. Do this for all the other 3, and you can just make it easier for you by selecting them, copy, and go to the next one, do the same thing, paste with relative, the next one, paste with relative, and the last one, paste with relative. This way will make it easier for you, because if you're gonna spend all your time retargeting, it's gonna take some hours. Now we're gonna have to put this all inside the turning component. So 90 left will be left 90, 180 left, this is right 180, this is 180 left, 90 right will be here, and 190 right will be here. Let me just double check. Looks good. Now that's it for the turning component, and the same thing goes here. This one is not this one has more parameters than the strafing. Here you can specify him if you want him to rotate based on how close you are. So distance to start rotating at 250. If you're under 250, he'll never rotate if you take this based on distance. By default it's off, and that's the value for it. So right now he rotates whether you're close to him or not. You can have this however you like. Initialize component, if you put this to false, he will never turn in place, so keep that in mind. Now for patrolling, nothing fancy here. You can just initialize it and remove it from here. As for the patrolling component itself, of how you want him to patrol, just go to the patrolling here, and you can specify the path and the patrolling points. Don't do it here, otherwise you're gonna have, it will change the entire animations, the entire behavior of all the classes inside the map. Everything that has the boss BP class will do the same exact patrolling, so just better do it from the editor itself. Now the last thing will be AI combat, which we're gonna have to worry about here the most. Nothing here you need to change or worry about, so keep it exactly as it is. For attacks initializer, I'll cover each and every single one of this individually, but we're gonna worry about animations first. I'm gonna remove all the entire animations that this boss has by default, and we're gonna have to create them by scratch. I'm just gonna keep this for now, and we're gonna change the combat type from axe to greatsword. Compile and save. And let's start by going to the close range attacks and implementing them one by one.